So in this video, we'll try and recap why all of us are involved in HCMC and just review all that's been going on, between HCMC and Philip Morris, and also try to see what we can digest technically from the stock. So we all know that HCMC has a lawsuit against Philip Morris. We know that very well. And of late, Philip Morris has gone on to the patent office to seek a review of that case, that patent. So, but at the same time as well, but at the same time as well, Philip Morris has argued in court that it isn't infringing on HCMC's patent. So, all in all, it is just a game Philip Morris is probably playing. They have to do that. They have to play that game because they have to exhaust all avenues, all gimmicks, name it. They have to exhaust all of them to ensure that if they're going to settle with HCMC, it will come down to something reasonable. And even if they have agreed and they know that they're going to settle with HCMC, there are a lot of stakeholders involved. So you wouldn't file a lawsuit of patent lawsuit against them and they just call you out the next day. Okay, come, let's settle. They have to fight it to the end. They have to fight it to the end. Even though they know it's costly, waste of time in some cases. But they still have to do that. They have to convince their own investors, convince themselves, the employees there, the stakeholders. They have to. The image is there. All of that. So they have to try all of these things. So indeed, by having an argument in court and also coming up with a request to have the patent reviewed, they're opposites. The opposites. You're admitting in court that by arguing, and at the same time you're also going to undermine the see if you can undermine that patent. So that's what's going on there. And but all in all, like we pointed out last week in the last video, it's at the same time as well, it helps the whole of all of these things. It cuts down the whole negotiation, the whole argument, the whole debate about whether there is indeed a patent and all that stuff, or whether they have infringed or not. I guess the case whether they have infringed or not is the exclusive reserve of the courts. So by going to trying to see if there's, by asking for a review to see if indeed HCMC has a patent, is a shorter direction, to the whole process. It's going to take, not up to 3 years, but the lawsuit will take up to 4 years and thereabout. And do you and I have the patience to wait for 4 years, as much even 2.5 years? Do we have the patience for that? Can we wait to see what's going to come out from this HCMC debate with Philip Morris? Okay, see what's going on here. You can see the stock has just been moving sideways. It's been consolidating. As we pointed out, it has 307.926 billion shares. That is a huge number of shares. And it appears to be consolidating within a longer term uptrend. The average directional index, or ADX, is below 20, indicating that the shares have traded sideways recently. However, the 200-day moving average still upward sloping, and it's also it's unfortunately lagging the S&P 500. There isn't enough interest in the stock right now, maybe because the huge army of HCMC, huge shareholder army, they are not selling right now. They are just holding on. The army is very strong. Yes, they are holding on. campaign on the many social media platforms, to remain strong, don't sell, and all that stuff is a potent one, So because of that, we're not seeing a lot of buying itself. If anything, if there's any short squeeze, it's not really occurring because maybe they haven't sold it enough. The people who are shorting it have not had any impact on the stock itself, but they have, because the stock has continued to retrace and move sideways, and in the midst of all of this sideways movement, there is a huge number of shares that have been sold, but it hasn't been a sharp one. It hasn't broken out. It hasn't broken out. So the stock is still very much trading. I would say since May, it's been trading between 0.0015 and 0.011, I guess. So it's been trading within that range. So all in all, its momentum for its based on its 14 period slow stochastic oscillator is below 20, and the momentum itself is bearish, and yes, the stock is currently oversold at the moment. So if we have to have a look at what's going on technically, again, for Philip Morris, this is the same chart you saw, but this is the daily model. We can see it is just still slightly above its 200-day moving average. So since June, it's been trading, yes, like you pointed out, between 0.001, 0.0015 and 0.0011, as a matter of fact. So this is what the daily model is indicating. So, and as a matter of fact, since April, it hasn't really gone below 0.011, but if you're going to take, if anything, we can see that it has, at some point it was actually trading at 0.001. That was sometime in April, and it extended, and at some point in May it reached 0.0023. But since that time, it continued to move sideways and just currently above its 200-day moving average. I think it's converged with its 10-day moving average there. It's converged with based on this daily model. Momentum obviously is very flat. The lack of buying interest is not exactly there. And this is what the daily model is indicating. So the weekly model, you can see, it's also the same thing. That's also the case. We have that pivot at 0.001, which occurred sometime in April, yes, and we have that extension as well reflected here, 0.0023, and this significant high also was in February, some time ago. And if we have to look at the monthly model, we can see it paints a different picture. We are looking at a retracement. The stock has just been moving sideways for months and months. So I think if we have to return to the daily model, we can see that of late, since April, the resistance has been at 0.019, and 0.0023. So that's where the resistance lies. This is the, let's see if we can draw that trend line there. Let's see if we can draw it from here. Okay, let's pick it up from here and see. Sorry, that's not a that's a vertical line. Sorry about that. Let's draw a horizontal line. So let's pick it up from here. No, sorry. this is not drawing. I'm trying to draw it a trend line, not a trend line snap. Let's see. Let's pick it up from here so we can see. Yeah. So if that is the case, it actually broke through that it broke through the trend line. So I think a better trend line we're gonna draw will be something like this. From here, see if we can reach these two resistances, and we got them. So yes, so we can see from, even though this is not exactly the bottom, from sometime in March 22nd or thereabout, you know, it was at 0.011 as well, just as it is now. And since that time, it has had some resistance as the 0.019 and 0.023. So fingers crossed. What do you want to do? Do you want to still remain in HCMC and wait till something happens? Well, that has been the message. Hold on and see what's going to happen. But if you're holding on, it's going to cost you money. It's going to, because time is money. If you're holding on here, that money, the money invested in HCMC, you can actually use it and do other things, invest in other stocks. If, for instance, if you have invested a tangible amount of money, a few thousands, you can actually buy other stocks and also use options to balance things out and make money, as in the medium term. So well, you decide what's gonna be. You decide what it's gonna be. So right now, technically HCMC is a buy. If you want to look at it from what it is trading relative to its moving averages, so it is trading at a discount to its 10-day moving average, its 20-day moving average, its 50-day moving average, and but it's trading above its 200-day moving average. That's a longer term moving average. So if you want to look at it that way, you might just want to, if you're already there already, you might just want to remain and see what's going to happen, whether the stock is going to extend in the coming sessions. So you have to balance all of these things out. The time you are waiting for something to come out, that time you can also use the same money and do other things. So is that what you want to do? Do you want to wait for it to see if it's going to extend in the near term? Because right now it is looking very cheap technically. You decide what it's going to be, and let's get going. So thank you very much for watching this video.